This probably feels like a weird topic to chat about, but it actually branches out into a bunch of other areas of the human experience. Like it all ties together. If you really think about it, we kind of have a toxic relationship with our own impermanence, a deep resistance and resentment to the fact that we are designed to grow old and die. Okay, just like stay with me. Stay with me. I have a couple videos that just make me nervous to post, and this is one of those. Like, think about it. This basic truth, right? The fact that we, in all of our individual existences, will expire. That truth, and how we each individually digest that truth, how it lives in our bodies, whether we fear that or embrace that, that will affect the color and the frequency of everything else that we do and how we do it. Thesis: mankind is insane. From this vantage point, it feels like man is moving in a way that feels counterintuitive to our collective good, our collective vibration, our evolution. It feels like man is moving in a way that is insane. It feels like man is eating itself. It feels like man has a virus, so to speak. You know, there's a reason I'm making a video exploring my views on death, and that's because how I see it is how we conceptualize death, what it means to us in our bodies and our subconscious minds, how we hold that, whether we fear it or whether we embrace it. It encodes your existence and determines how you go about everything in your experience. It kind of also puts a cap on how deep you can kind of connect to your experience. I think it affects your essence and your vitality. If you have a subconscious fear of death, there's a rigidity that exists inside you because some part of you rejects a natural part of your existence. And it's insane because death is not negative. Death is as natural and as neutral as it can be. And it's just so bizarre to me to have evolved this far and to still fear death. It's so interesting to me. I feel like there's disharmony somewhere within you if the idea of death scares you. If you don't feel at peace with the very nature of the human experience. If the fear of death lives somewhere hidden inside you, I think it creates a framework of scarcity. I think it just creates a foundational framework of scarcity. It sets the stage for everything else. I know this feels like, how does this connect? If you're sitting there like, how does the fear of death connect to all the negative stuff in the world? Just sit tight. I'm gonna help it connect. But basically, if we reject and refuse to embrace the most basic code of the simulation, it has ripple effects. As above, so below. As above, so below. Humans exist in a very backwards manner, doing things that go against the natural flow of things that are not sustainable. I feel like all of these things stem from the fact that we go against nature at the smallest core level, our own existence. With everything that we do, we have to bring forth the knowledge and remembrance that everything is everything, as above, so below. And your body, your subconscious, this is your gauge, this is your remote control. This is what creates the world around you. And if you have a core, like something's not latched, you know, if you have a core fear, and this is the thing, it's not a present fear. It's not something, it's not like you walk around every day, oh my God, I'm afraid to die. Like, it's not like that. It's a quiet fear that you might not even realize you have. But if you turn that fear into just a radical acceptance, excitement for all parts of life, including death, you are open and neutral and surrendered to all of it. You can go in and just fix that fear, change that fear to a more positive frequency. And it's like a chip. You just changed your coding a little bit. You now live by a different code. You now live on a different frequency. Okay, disclaimer, y'all, because I'm not talking about the fear of being murdered. Okay, I'm not talking about dying prematurely. Like, it's natural to not want those things. We literally have instincts for self-preservation. We have fight or flight. We have ingrained instincts to prevent ourselves from being erased. So I'm not saying we need to somehow get rid of our natural, carnal, animalistic instinct to want to survive. That's not what I mean. We should try to keep ourselves alive. We should be trying to survive. So I understand trying to omit death in a violent way or in a unfortunate, unhealthy way. Like, that makes sense. That's not what I'm talking about in this video. I'm not talking about fear of being stabbed. I'm not talking about that. That's not what this video is about. What I'm talking about is, I've talked to people who have this fear, who death freaks them out. They have this lingering fear about the concept of it. They have a lot of trauma and grief attached to it. I am not invalidating any grief that you have experienced in your reality from releasing someone to death. I'm in no way nullifying those feelings. Those feelings are real. Those feelings are visceral. Those feelings are almost total sometimes. So I completely validate all of those feelings and all that grief. That is not what I'm talking about either. I talked about in another video how all major conflicts on a energy level stem from the clashing of immortality projects, like religious wars, for example, where one group needs their immortality project, so like their means of self-preservation, maybe that's through their ideology, their system of government, whatever it is, and another group's immortality project that's like equally valid. They're imposing on each other, and it creates this like almost animalistic you versus me, one of us has to die mentality. It's barbaric, it's like animalistic, and instead of us being two gorillas in the woods, we're two entities or two countries or two regions with guns going at each other because of their immortality project. You versus me, one of us has to die. And if we change certain fundamental beliefs, if we tweak certain things, it will cause ripple effects, I believe, on the world at large. If we don't have the fear of death, it really does alleviate this frantic need that people have to preserve themselves and to bulldoze over others in an attempt to preserve themselves. If everyone just felt safe and at ease and at peace with themselves and their own existence, if that became the culture, if that became the common vantage point that people live from, conflicts would just really, really subside. To resist aging is to resist your design. Let's take me, for example, okay? I want to grow old, and people can't understand that. Other girls and women my age, when I tell my friends who are like, oh my God, I don't want to go old, da, da, da. Like I have friends who are literally afraid to get older. In their perception, they're afraid to lose their beauty. They're afraid of wrinkles. They're afraid of all these things. They're taking all these precautions, which is fine. Okay, we love a skincare routine. Okay, skincare routine tea. Like I love a skincare routine. I like a skincare routine just because I like to look. I just like skincare. I like to glow. I like to glow. But I'm talking about when it's rooted in fear is different. In any given moment, whatever age, I'm not saying don't take care of yourself, but some people do this out of fear. I want to grow old. I want to develop wrinkles and spots. I want to see who I'm coded to become, you know? I want to see 55-year-old me. I want to see 75-year-old me. I want to see 104-year-old me, okay? Period. I got long life in my family. I got long life in my genes, okay? Clock it. I want to see how I change. I want to see how my hands and my arms change. I want to see the wrinkles that form. I smile a lot, so my smile line is going to be deep, baby. I want to see the spots take over my face, just like they done my grandmother and just like they are working on my mom right now. Ciao, okay? And they're coming in for me too, babe. They're cooking. 20 years from now, I'm going to look like Morgan Freeman. I want to be 80 and 85 and look at life through those eyes. I don't want to feel like I'm only valuable until 35 and then it's all downhill. I don't think that way. To resist aging is to resist your design. I'm gonna run it back, okay? To resist aging is to resist your design. And just think about how embedded it is in our culture that we're supposed to want to stay young. Think about that resistance. Think about that energy. It's like, uh-oh, time slipping away. Uh-oh, every day that goes by, you're getting a little more wrinkly. Uh-oh, time slipping away. Uh-oh, come back here. Youth is here. Youth is in this pill. Youth is in this cream. Youth is in this. We'll sell you youth. We embed this fear of aging, of growing, of changing, of the natural change that the human body goes through. We want you to fear and resist those things, and we'll sell you the solution to the fear. Sometimes you really have to sit for a second and deconstruct it. We're supposed to want to look young. Why? Why? And there are two things that are parallel here that I do recognize that I want to address. But this is when you have to understand frequency, because I'm talking about wanting to stay young. I'm critiquing this desire to stay young. And then on the other side, you could argue, well, no, this is just the desire to stay healthy. It's good to want to be healthy, to want longevity. These two things feel very similar and they can look the same. That's why I am not critiquing this frequency of health. I am critiquing the frequency of fear, doing it because I want to stay young. I do not want to grow old. That is different than I enjoy health. I enjoy being as healthy as I can in any possible moment. Those are two different frequencies that can result in the same actions or behaviors being carried out. But it's the frequency I'm critiquing. I'm not necessarily critiquing someone for having a skincare routine, but there's the woman who's doing it out of fear of aging, and there's the woman who's doing it out of, I like to take care of my skin. Those are different frequencies. So anyway, back to the script. Like, imagine a world where people were amused, enamored by the idea of like imagining what they'll look like 40 years from now. Imagine if people were proud of the wrinkles and saw them as like badges of life. Like, I want people to feel warmth at knowing that another beautiful version of yourself awaits down the timeline. And then one day you'll die. And it's chill. But all in all, I think part of the reason why I want to make this video is that I've seen elders in my life looking at the mirror saddened by the fact that their face is changing. Saddened that they don't look like the photo of their 20s. This is a deep-rooted paradigm. So I know that at first listen, it's easy to dismiss it as, well, it's just an order of preference. Some people want to look young, and there's nothing wrong with that. We shouldn't shame that. And to that I say, of course. But there's a chance you might be slightly off of the actual point of what I'm saying. Baseline is, it's always fine to feel however you feel objectively. But what I'm criticizing is when you feel a certain way due to programming, due to outside influence, due to the flavor of the air you were born into, when it's not based on your own agency, but instead it's because of just all the data points and information you've absorbed since spawning on the planet. That's what's governing how you feel and your nervous system and your behaviors. All of that data taught you to fear your impermanence. It's like life is a roller coaster, and some people are on board onto the roller coaster and they're told, hey, this is going to end at some point. So you should be pretty stressed about that. Enjoy it while you can, but it is going to end. And then you go on the ride. And after hearing that onboarding, you're tense for the ride. Like, maybe you enjoy it for a little bit, but you're always remembering that it's going to come to an end. You're always thinking about the end, that you're not even able to fully be present and enjoy the ride. And then when you get to the end, you tense up, you get scared because someone told you you were onboarded to it in a way that made terminality, that made, what is it? You were onboarded in a way that made the end feel painful, abrupt, jarring. You were just onboarded in a way that makes you weary. You know, you don't feel, you aren't integrated with the idea of death. I'm really trying to channel this properly. Think about how that person rides the roller coaster versus someone who gets on the same roller coaster, but they're onboarded differently, where it's like, yo, enjoy this shit, bro. You're here right now. You're about to be on the roller coaster, and then you'll be back here, and it's going to be fire. So just enjoy it. Put your hands up, and yeah, enjoy that shit. It will be different. You wouldn't be fearing an end because it was onboarded to you in a way that just felt like natural. Like, yeah, you're going to do the roller coaster, and then we'll be back. We'll be back. Like, dope. And then you just be able to, like, enjoy the ride and let it end when it ends. Like, I hope I'm making this analogy right, but basically we're all on roller coasters, but we've all been onboarded with different tones at different frequencies. And some frequencies are higher than other frequencies. So whether or not you agree with some of the thoughts or ideas in this video, the goal is just to be able to pan out and look at yourself and assess what frequencies you have in these different areas, what your thoughts and beliefs are regarding these different things, so that you can see them and then you can change them to higher frequencies. And then everyone raises the vibration, and then we all get higher frequencies, and then we all just enjoy life more because love is of a higher frequency, and then we have more love and love and love. Right? Fearing impermanence. It's a construct. It's a virus that I think robs you from engaging with life at the core level that we're all meant to. If you don't feel fully at peace with the very arc and nature of the human experience, you know, the idea that we grow old and we die on a curve, like we start off vulnerable, we get stronger, then we become vulnerable again. And that's the arc. That's the flow that this experience is here to teach us. Every part of it and every moment of it is beautiful, valuable. Every single moment is as valuable as the next moment. There's no, oh, youth was the time where it mattered and now you don't know. It's like, think about this. Even if you don't think about this topic in your day-to-day life, your coding on a quiet level that you probably can't even perceive is, I am afraid to die. Imagine rewriting that code in your subconscious to read, I am supposed to die, or I get to die, One day I'm gonna die. Like neutral as hell. Like, what if your coding was that? I'm gonna die. Just like every other living being on this planet did before me. I am part of this system, and that is beautiful. I am the leaf that will eventually fall off the tree, and that's beautiful. And knowing that, I am going to enjoy the breeze while I'm still on the tree. I'm going to enjoy the rain when it hits me. I'm going to enjoy the breeze when it hits me while I'm on the tree. I'm going to be filled with awe when I watch myself turn from green to yellow to red. I'm going to embrace drying up. And then when I leave this branch, when a gust of wind blows me off the branch, I'm going to let the wind take me to the next phase, baby. That's how we want the leaf to live. We don't want the leaf to be, you're freaking green and fresh and you're looking down like, oh shit, one day I'm going to fall off this tree. Like, who can? Like, that's not how you live. That's not how you live, bruh. The piece of hair is bothering me, bruh. I'm so sorry. I know there's some of my OCD girlies out there who that hair probably been bothering y'all too, and I'm so sorry. I appreciate all the love on my last video. And the biggest thing that I want to keep reiterating foundationally on my channels as I'm gaining these audiences is that I'm a human, and do not create some random figure in your mind. Do not create some parasocial delusion in your mind that I am some perfect being, because I'm not. And as I go throughout this life, I plan to embrace every part of my humanity. I plan to embrace change. I plan to give myself grace, and I plan to allow myself to make mistakes as well. And all I'm doing on this channel is channeling, is showing, is being visible. But I do not plan to let said visibility or increase of platform change the trajectory of what I want to do or how I want to express. So there will be variations of format. There's all kinds of stuff I'm doing, but basically, moral of the story is that I am just an artist and I create omnidirectionally, and I am allowing that to be visible in kind of an exhibitionist format, but that's pretty much it. I want to create a code also where I only talk about what I want to talk about when I want to talk about it. So we'll see. It's been an interesting journey. I'll just say that. I love you guys so much. Be nice to each other in the comments. Subscribe. Tell your mama to subscribe. Tell your daddy to subscribe. Tell your baby mama or your baby daddy to subscribe. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. As a kid, and I kid you not, and this probably sounds so weird. This might sound crazy, but as a kid, I always felt like I had just came back from death last week. Like, I always felt like the space I was in before I was born is the same place you go after, this kind of just not carnated space. And I remember I used to ask, where was I before I was born? So I guess though that was the first question that showed I was about to be this existential kid, because I would say, where was I before I was born? I would just ask all these questions. I was the kid who just asked so many questions. I was like, onboard me, where am I? What's going on?